You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. The U.S. Embassy spokesperson to Cambodia, Chad Rodemert, told EAC News that the United States welcomed Prime Minister Hun Sen and other ASEAN heads of state to Washington, D.C. for a successful ASEAN-U.S. Special Summit. He said the meeting demonstrated the United States' long-term commitment to ASEAN centrality in providing sustainable solutions to key regional challenges. EAC News reporter Dashana Gochin has the story.
Spokesperson Chad Rodemert told EAC News the United States and ASEAN have committed to establish an ASEAN-U.S. comprehensive strategic partnership that is meaningful, substantive, and mutually beneficial at the 10th ASEAN-U.S. Summit in November 2022. The response from the U.S. Embassy spokesperson in Cambodia was made on the evening of Tuesday, 17th May 2022, seeming to indicate the close relationship between Cambodia and the United States after the ASEAN-U.S. Special Summit. Prior to the summit, Prime Minister Hun Sen was greeted by a large crowd of Cambodians living in the United States and Canada in front of the Willard Intercontinental Hotel, his residence in Washington, D.C. The ASEAN-U.S. Special Summit was held on 12th to 13th May, chaired by U.S. President Joe Biden and co-chaired by Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen. After the summit, ASEAN and the U.S. reached a 28-point joint vision statement, according to the U.S. State Department. The 28-point joint vision statement emphasizes the importance of adhering to the key principles, shared values, and norms set out in the Charter of the United Nations, the ASEAN Charter, the Declaration on Zone of Peace, Freedom, and Neutrality, the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia, the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the Treaty on the Southeast Asian Nuclear Weapon-Free Zone, and the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific. ASEAN and the United States reaffirmed the joint commitment to strengthen and build more comprehensive ASEAN-U.S. dialogue partnership that has been long indispensable to ASEAN and the United States, as well as the broader region and the international community, in order to promote and maintain peace, security, stability, and prosperity in the region, to ensure that relations remain adaptable to meet new challenges, and to cooperate appropriately in international and regional forums where ASEAN and the United States are members. The reaffirmation of the joint commitment includes maintaining and promoting peace, security, and stability in the region, as well as the peaceful resolution of disputes, including full respect for the legal and diplomatic process without resorting to threats or intimidation or use of force, in accordance with international law. Darshana Gochin, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Cambodia-U.S. relations began in 1950 at a time when the world was going through the Cold War crisis. This relationship has been seen as both bad and good from the beginning, but more recently, Cambodia and China have been getting closer, and the tensions between Cambodia and the U.S. have become more apparent. However, during a meeting in Washington, D.C. on the 11th of May with more than 2,000 Cambodians living in the United States and Canada, Prime Minister Hun Sen stated that relations between Cambodia and the United States have reached a historical peak in both diplomatic and trade relations. EAC News reporter Dashana Gochin has more.
Prime Minister Hun Sen believes that some of the issues and misunderstandings that Cambodia and the United States have with each other will be able to be resolved through mediation. He has previously affirmed that Cambodia wants to be friends with all countries in the world, including the United States. So the question then is, will Cambodia-U.S. relations be able to improve? According to the president of the Institute of International Relations of the Royal Academy of Cambodia, Dr. Kin Phia, through examining the ASEAN-U.S. Summit, he believes the relationship between Cambodia and the United States was strengthened, but that pushing the relationship between the two countries to a higher level will require the goodwill of both countries. In his perspective, Cambodia has always generally shown a strong desire to build relations with the United States and other countries in the world. Cambodia has spent more than $720,000 on hiring American consulting firm Akin Gump Strauss Hauer and Feld LLP to lobby the United States to better understand Cambodia, especially regarding ongoing misunderstandings such as the issue of the Ream Naval Base. During a meeting with Akin Gump Representative Scott David Parvin in the United States on the morning of 12th May, Prime Minister Hun Sen urged the representative to lobby more about Cambodia to the United States. That same day, the Prime Minister also met with Michael Putrazello, a representative from the U.S. public relations firm Corvus Communications, to urge them to spread more truths about Cambodia to the world and to present a look at the kingdom that is not only from the side of the opposition media. Dr. Ir Sopal, an associate professor at Arizona State University and an expert in political science and international affairs, told EAC News via email that simply hiring a consulting firm could not improve Cambodia-U.S. relations. He wrote, "Lobbying is a Washington, D.C. pastime. Everyone does it that has money to squander, from Saudi Arabia to Cambodia. Why the Prime Minister would waste his time to go talk to his own lobbyist must be because he has so much time to waste." However, in Dr. Kin Pia's perspective, hiring a lobbying company to help Cambodia-U.S. relations is still a positive step, as it at least shows Cambodia's efforts to improve its relationship with the United States.
ជាការមើលឃើញរបស់ខ្ញុំតិចឬច្រើនក្រុមហ៊ុននេះវាអាចថាយ៉ាងហោចណាស់ក៏បាននាំនៅរូបភាពពិតខ្លះអំពីប្រទេសកម្ពុជាទៅដល់អ្នកធ្វើគោលនយោបាយរបស់សហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកក៏ដូចជាសាធារណជនសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកដែរហើយសួរថាតើក្រុមហ៊ុននេះជួយបានកម្រិតណាអាចនឹងនាំឲ្យកម្ពុជាយើងមានទំនាក់ទំនងល្អជាមួយសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកកម្រិតណាខ្ញុំគិតថាយើងពិបាកប៉ាន់ស្មានណាពីព្រោះតាមរយៈនៃអរិយការទូតអាមេរិកកន្លងមកនេះគឺมันមានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរអីច្រើនចំពោះប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដោយសារតែនៃតពលដែលក្រុមហ៊ុននឹងបានជួយទេ
In a meeting with Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn on the sideline of the ASEAN-US Summit on 13th May, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also raised the issue of human rights and fundamental freedoms in Cambodia. He urged Cambodia to drop political charges and to allow opposition politicians to participate freely in the upcoming elections. He also reiterated U.S. concerns about how the construction of military facilities by the People's Republic of China at the Ream Naval Base could have a negative impact on regional security. In response, Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn stated that Cambodia is fully committed to a process of inclusion and freedom of speech. He mentioned that elections in Cambodia are free, fair, and protect the rights and well-being of the people. As for the allegations against the Ream Naval Base, the Deputy Prime Minister said that Cambodia adheres to the constitution, which does not allow any foreign base or presence in Cambodia. He said, the renovation of the base serves solely to strengthen the Cambodian naval capacities, to protect its maritime integrity and combat crimes. For Dr. Ir Supal, in order to build good relations with the United States, Cambodia does not need a lobbyist and rather needs to work on the real issues that the U.S. government has raised, such as Cambodia's ever-growing relationship with China and the state of democracy and human rights in the country. On the other hand, Dr. Kin Pia thinks that Cambodia has made every effort to respond to the United States, but what is important is the United States' willingness to increase good relations with Cambodia. Prime Minister Hun Sen explained why he believed the Cambodia-U.S. relationship had reached its peak by underlying how the U.S. Embassy is firmly established in the kingdom and by highlighting the growing economic and trade ties between the two countries.
បានដើរដល់ចំណុចកំពូលដែលមិនធ្លាប់មានក្នុងប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្រពុតមែនតែវាមានលេចដែតក៏ប៉ុន្តែសូមឲ្យសង្កេតលើបញ្ហាពីរមុនគេទី1មុនឆ្នាំ2000តើអាមេរិកមានស្ថានទូតផ្ទាល់ខ្លួននៅកម្ពុជាឬអត់ចម្លើយគឺអត់មានទេអាមេរិកជួលផ្ទះគេទៅនៅទេក្រោយឆ្នាំ2000ជាពិសេសក្រោយដំណាក់កាលដែលកម្ពុជារកឃើញសន្តិភាពពេញលេញអាមេរិកបានកសាងស្ថានទូតនៅកម្ពុជាទីតាំងស្ថានទូតនៅកម្ពុជាគឺជាទីតាំងល្អបំផុតប្រសិនបើមិនមែនជាអាមេរិកទេខ្ញុំអត់ផ្ដល់ឲ្យទេកន្លែងហ្នឹងព្រោះជាក្លឹបរបស់យុវជនឈិតវត្តភ្នំ100ទី2ក្នុងប្រវត្តិទំនាក់ទំនងពាណិជ្ជកម្មពេលនេះគឺជាពាណិជ្ជកម្មដែលធំបំផុត ជាងទំហំពាណិជ្ជកម្មដែលនាំចូលមកអាមេរិកជាង 9,000 លាន ឥឡូវក្រុមហ៊ុនអាមេរិកកាន់តែច្រើនទៅស្រុកខ្មែរ
Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. The Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces and the Commander of the Royal Cambodian Army, Lieutenant General Hun Manet, met with the Ambassador of the Republic of France in Cambodia, Jacques Palais, at the headquarters of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces on Tuesday afternoon. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more details.
During the meeting, Lieutenant General Hun Manet mentioned the long-standing friendship between the two countries, who have so far enjoyed good cooperation in all fields. On behalf of the Cambodian people, Lieutenant General Hun Manet thanked the French Republic for its past assistance to Cambodia on many important tasks, such as the national unification of Cambodia through France's role in co-chair of Paris's conference, the development of peacekeeping forces to Cambodia, the provision of development assistance and scholarships for Cambodian students, aiding legal development, including providing funding for Khmer Rouge Tribunal, supporting the incorporation of Prevahir Temple as the World Heritage Site, providing funding for the COVID-19 research project, as well as supporting Cambodia's role in the 2022 ASEAN Chair and the Prime Minister's efforts to find peaceful solution ongoing conflict in Myanmar. As for military cooperation, Lieutenant General Manet also noticed a strong bilateral cooperation manifest through various agreements at both of the level of the government and the level of the Ministry of National Defence. Through these bases, many cooperation activities were implemented, including disaster and docking exercises, military assistance and human resources training in military skills, peacekeeping operations, and the French language, especially support for activity military academies and the National Centre for Peacekeeping Forces Management and clearance of mines and explosive remnants of war. In response, Ambassador Jacques Palais expressed his pride in historical relationship between Cambodia and France, especially in 2022, which marks the 70th anniversary in diplomatic relations between the two countries and the 30th anniversary of the French peacekeeping operations in Cambodia. The ambassador noted that Cambodia is a country that has been bitter history of victim of chronic war, but now Cambodia has a highly capable army that is experienced in peacekeeping, has proficiency in the French language, and has been on the duty in many countries in the world. The ambassador said that there was the most proud it has been 19% of the Cambodian Blue Helmet troops are women, exceeding the expectations of the United Nations. Women forces are very important and high in demand, as most of the victims in warring states are women, making it imperative that the women be able to work closely with other women. The French ambassador also congratulated Cambodia for being one of the leading countries in the world for combating the control and the spread of COVID-19, and further congratulated Lieutenant General Hun Manet on his recent reward from the Royal Government of Cambodia for his past contributions in the fight against COVID-19. Going forward, the two sides expressed their willingness and interest in stepping up efforts to boost military cooperation between the two countries, especially in considering building direct relations between the two countries' armies, which can be an important part of strengthening relations between the two countries. The two sides also exchanged views on the global and regional issues, noting the importance and necessary in peace, stability and development for all. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.